Hey Festival fam, it is Neko down here and I'm going to show you a tutorial on how I made this all white hydration bag from RaveBeetle look like this to this. So this is actually my second time dyeing, and this new bag we're actually going to give to a friend, and that friend likes more neutral colors, so we're going to go with like an emerald here. You can get this dye from any local craft store. I just so happen to get mine from Hobby Lobby and it was pretty cheap. You don't have to get the dye more synthetic. This bag takes really well to dye. So what you're gonna do first is make sure you take off all your little bits, like the hydration bag, bladder bag, you take that off. The little clip on the front to hold the bladder in place, and your skin. Make sure you take everything you can off of the bag, strip the bag completely naked, and then we're gonna pre-soak that bag. So I'm just gonna turn the water on and just start pre-soaking that. And for this type of material of the bag, the best results for the dye to get it out, you're gonna need a cup of vinegar here, and you're also gonna need like a teaspoon of some dish soap. So let's get back to pre-soaking the bag here. So to the sink, you will also need, a giant stainless steel pot. Make sure to fill the water halfway, because once you put the bag inside, the water will rise. And we don't need that overflowing over there on the stove top. So pre-soaking the bag here. You want to make sure you get it nice and covered up with the water here, because once you slide it in the pot, the dye is gonna like go into it like evenly. You want the dye to be as evenly as possible. You can do an ombre look. I might try to do that for a next project. So once you get your bag all saturated, get a giant stainless steel spoon too, so you can mix everything up. So we're gonna go back over here and put our ingredients into the pot. So gonna need a cup of vinegar. Just dump that in. And a teaspoon here of some regular dish soap. I got some Gain here. A teaspoon of that. Mix it all up. And for the dye, I actually just dump in the whole bottle. So yeah, just make sure you shake up your dye really well. I got some little cap on here. You might want to get a paper towel too, just to sit on your counter so you can lay your spoon on. And again, just mix it all up. Turn the oven back on. I had my pot going for a while, so it is nice and hot. I'm gonna make sure the water is as hot as possible here. Typically what I like to do, I like to just dump it in from the top. So we're just gonna do that. Just slowly get it in there. I know a lot of people is kind of worried about the extra parts being melted, but everything came out just fine. And like I said, this will be my third time dyeing a bag. And don't worry if you accidentally mess up. They do sell color lifters that you can use on the bag, and then it will uplift the color and you can try to re-dye it all over again. For my very first time dyeing, I did use the color lifter, and it actually works really well. So don't be intimidated, just go for it. So we're just gonna keep dunking it in there until we get it all covered up and get that nice color we like. Like it's already starting to work out pretty well. Typically you want gloves. My hands are already starting to colored there. And for me, I have this bag in here for about 15 minutes. It really just depends on how dark you want it or how well the bag is actually taking the dye. Like I said, this bag actually takes it really well, so about 15 minutes should be good enough. kind of hold it down, make sure it's all getting sucked up in there. And as you can see, it's looking pretty cool so far. I'm just gonna do a couple more minutes just to make sure the straps are nice and good. Because the foam and the strap, sometimes it takes just a little bit longer to be soaked down up in there. Alright, so as soon as you get it to the color you want, you want to make sure you turn your sink on and use cold water. Cold water. And we're going to rinse it out as best as we can there. I'm going to rinse it as many times as you can to get the water clear. And typically what I do after I get it like rinsed out to the water's clear, I still throw it in my washing machine on just rinse and dry with a little bit of washing detergent, just to make sure everything gets out. Because the last thing you need is, you know, wear your bag and the dye is dripping on your outfit. So we don't need that to happen. And once you do that, you take it out the washer and just let it air dry. Sometimes I even do it twice in the washer just for, you know, just for safety measures. All right, we got that. Oh, and if the dye somehow like stain your sink or your pot, use some bleach and it will come right out. For this part, it's definitely best to use gloves. My hands are already stained. That is such a pretty color. Nice. I really wanted to do this bag purple, but my friend is definitely more of a neutral color girl. But this color is so pretty. And she was a fairy. So, alright, that is pretty much the tutorial. Again, just keep rinsing until the water is clear. Throw it in a washing machine or rinse and spin cycle with a bit of washing detergent just to make sure all of that dye out. And then let it air dry and you guys are good to go. Have fun with the dyeing, Rave fam.